Welcome back, everybody, to Rain on Your Parade with J.L. Cauvin. I am J.L. Cauvin. Hopefully you're seeing me this week, and I'm here, as always, with producer Mike. Hello, producer Mike.
Hi, everybody. Hi, JL. Apologies for the no video last week. Were the comments brutal?
No, the low views were brutal.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
But that's it. What are we going to do? Except turn the camera on. And producer,
the camera was on
because
I did fuck something else up
because I'm dressed to the sixes. Frankie is,
he's indisposed.
And people were so disappointed because we actually showed Frankie.
But let me say, I actually, when I was putting the audio together, I was thinking this is kind of a genius bit that we're finally showing Frankie on the episode that we don't have any video.
It's kind of a Conan type bit.
Right. Here's the dog. Yeah.
We're ready to show Frankie. Frankie, show Frankie. Technical difficulties.
Yes, exactly.
He cuts back. It's like the studio's on fire. Yeah. Frankie fled. Wanted to talk to you about Giorgio Armani.
Oh boy, yeah, rest in peace.
Big loss.
It is a big loss.
And he is one of those. Is he? We always talk in Mount Rushmores, and by we I mean I force it upon you.
Mm-hmm.
Is he a Mount Rushmore fashion icon?
Oh my God,
kind of tough.
I don't know that I'm the person to qualified enough to give
in this room. You are.
I mean, is he one of my personal Mount Rushmores? Probably. I mean, he's like the go-to when I want to try to look like I have money.
Yeah.
Like I always try to find I go shopping for Armani jackets that I can get like vintage.
Nice.
Yeah, for me he is for sure. But I mean, you got a lot of people in the mix.
And a lot of the reason I want to tell it goes back to my thought about if we could unify Blacks and Italians.
Right. Take over the world.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy. It's the same thing on a sort of civil rights level when you see the ever-increasing split between Jewish people and Black people.
Yeah.
The 60s, when so much progress was made, was when they were just a generation from the Holocaust.
Yeah.
So there was a real passion and empathy and synergy between those groups. And you see what happened?
Right.
When you add those brains under the yarmulkes with those fast twitch muscles, you get a lot of progress. Am I right, Mikey? Now, it's all kidding aside. Like we can see these moments. It goes back. We have so much history to show us what happens when groups that have for generations been either stepping away from each other or pushed away from each other. And I look at Italians, it goes to my point again. The icons of fashion are there's so many Italian icons in fashion and in sports a generation ago where it's a joke, but it's the reason the joke is funny is because I'm like, Italians laid out the path that Black people have taken in this country or been forced into taking.
Yeah.
And the problem arises when you go, so isn't it great that they're doing it better than you, Vinny?
It's so funny because I had kind of this conversation.
The greater the suffering, the greater the art.
Right. But the difference was that the Italians, when they came to America and they had their first, 30, 40 years of struggle, eventually opted into just being white.
Yeah.
They gave up Italian Americans believe that they are like white people, white Americans. And the truth is we are so much closer, I think, culturally to Black people.
Yep. Say the N-word a lot.
Not me, but there is this like weird link where it's like, I do resent the fact that culturally Italians made such a point to make themselves white people in this country. It's so odd.
But I think it was almost certainly a cultural choice, not as much an ethnic choice. It was like, we want access to that power.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, that's the great thing. Great in terms of magnitude, not great in terms of it's awesome.
Yeah.
Of sort of white power is that it just picks you off one by one.
Yeah.
Because if everybody who'd been treated shitty by fucking, waspy Puritans just banded together, very different country.
Yes.
But I just reading all the Armani obituaries, I was just like, wow, what an iconic person, and what a tremendous life, and really built and left something and left an imprint and changed a lot. Like, I don't mean changed like a civil rights, but changed an industry and changed the power of fashion in terms of like Hollywood and media.
Yes. Well, that was what I was going to say too. I think the thing that gets slept on about some of these designers.
Good thing I wore a suit to talk about Armani. It's Joseph A. Bank, who is not Italian. I think he doesn't even exist.
You're right. He's like Ronald McDonald. He was created for the sake of selling you suits. Armani is like a perfect example. He was responsible for so many wardrobes that we've seen in films. Most notably, first one that comes to mind is The Untouchables. He dressed them for that movie.
Whoa, he did?
Yeah, all those suits are Armani suits. So it's like, you can kind of argue that Kevin Costner looking as good as he did in The Untouchables, like right around the time he was about to become a humongous star.
Yeah,
you can credit some of that to Armani, making him look cool. You know,
yeah,
Not
American Gigolo, but he was being
American
used,
Gigolo, right?
He said
Which is
American
like
Gigolo.
the
That's it.
American Gigolo is like the beginning of '80s movies.
Yeah,
you know,
Pat Riley,
yeah, right.
Icon.
Clapton when he was doing his like unplugged era on MTV, that like Clapton Renaissance. That was all
nothing
Armani.
Armani would want more than to be associated with Tears in Heaven. When I wore your suit,
it's very depressing.
My kid fell off the terrace. Armani suits, you killed the youth, but I look good in my suit. Boom, 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 kids in heaven. Boom, boom, boom. Anyway, I have a joke about that song where I said, credit to Eric Clapton. Unlike Aerosmith with Janie's Got a Gun.
Yeah.
When you're doing a song about sad shit, make it sad. Hey, Janie's Got a Gun. What a kick-ass rock song.
Yeah.
What's it about? Sexual abuse of a teenager.
Yeah.
Run away. Run away. Oh, man. Sing it again. The replay. Yeah. Let's play this one again. Now, bad move, Aerosmith.
He also did Goodfellas, by the way.
Oh, there you go. And Wolf of Wall Street.
Yep,
like, so a long stretch. But I have to say, we've all jokes aside, I often say I'm not a fashionable person. It's just not one of the things I can be concerned. It's, I keep a buzz cut for utility, not because I think it's the greatest look.
Right.
Though when I'm in shape, it's a flex. Just like when a hot chick buzzes her head and you're like, you're still amazing.
Right. Right.
Not many women can do that.
Right. So
I love the story. Like when I saw House of Gucci, just to bring up since we're Italian fashion.
Yeah.
I liked that movie, by the way. I know it got like,
I never saw it.
I found it really enjoyable. Like the Adam Driver, I'm going to play a famous Italians phase. I liked both of those movies. Ferrari.
Oh, I didn't see Ferrari either. I did want to though.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I think because it has like I think some people would watch it and go, it was weird, but I'm like, no, I think the whole point of the movie is to show the man's drive. Pun intended, I guess, but to show like a sort of what it takes to be iconic sort of thing. But Gucci, other than Jared Leto, best performance of his career. I don't like Jared Leto at all.
Maybe neither.
But God, he's so good in House of Gucci. It's a really fun, he's in a fat suit. Yeah. But he's really good. But what the most fascinating thing about the House of Gucci movie was, I didn't know Gucci, they were struggling. They were like, whenever it was 70s or something or 80s, whenever they were really like, we went from an iconic brand now. And they bring in this hot young designer from Texas. They're like, who's this guy? Tom Ford. Yeah. He saved Gucci.
Yeah,
and I thought,
Gucci.
Make that movie. I'll see it. It doesn't matter that it's fashion. That's
I thought that was the story for House of Gucci.
No, it's about how Lady Gaga kills one of the Guccis.
Yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, no, that Ford story is interesting. And then he got I think he got chased out of there. Or maybe he got chased out of Yves Saint Laurent. He got chased out of one of the fashion houses though. And Tom Ford is a fucking legend. You ever hear his interviews?
No.
He is so interesting. It's unbelievable.
But that's
so smart.
So, I say make a movie about Tom Ford because I just sat there going like, oh man, I didn't realize he saved Gucci.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't care about Gucci, but I do think it's cool to be like, I know they're an iconic brand, and I guess they could have tanked.
Yeah.
And he came in there and breathed, all new life. And some people are saying I might save Joseph A. Bank with this podcast right now. Lap it up, fellas. So I was in court today. That's why I'm in the suit. And of course, I'm not going to discuss my work. But it is housing court is an interesting beast.
I bet.
That's what I'm doing. And I got to say, and then we'll go to a break and we'll decide if I'm going to do the main topic that I'd like to do. This is one of those episodes where it's like we're
singing Aerosmith.
Yeah.
We're talking about Gucci.
Yeah. Tears in heaven. I found it so like when I went to Montreal and everybody was bilingual, just like everybody, I found it like, I don't find accents sexy. I don't care about accents. I mean, I can find an accent repulsive. Baltimore, Philly.
Oh God.
Baltimore doesn't get its credit for like white Baltimore or whatever part of Baltimore. It's the worst.
It is the worst.
It's Philly somehow more jacked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's the worst. It's like just.
Well, because as dumb as a Southern accent can sound, it can also sound like on the right person, it can sound kind of like charming.
Right. And what was I talking about?
Baltimore accents.
Yeah, but before
Montreal.
Yeah. Montreal, bilingual. But I find bilingual shit attractive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I find it's not the accent, it's the talent and ability to just weave into different languages. So, but I always think it's so racist in this country. And this is something that I may or may not develop into a bit. But like, I'm walking down the street about a month ago at work to go get lunch. And some like little chubby grandkid, he's like 12, comes up to me with his grandfather. And he's like translating for me. And this is, I'm sure, very common to a lot of Latino and children of immigrants in general. But Latino in this particular case, the youth become the sort of, they adapt, they assimilate, but they keep some of the skills. So they become translators and like facilitators for their older. And that's a great thing. And I just feel like when I was in Canada, I remember just becoming like attracted to my like normal looking waitress just because she's like, bonjour, how's it going? And I was like, what? And she's like, oh, how are you? No, I can talk English. Yes.
Yeah.
And she was just very friendly and very suave. And like, I was like, wow, I'd love to just order another course so I can continue this conversation. But in this country, or as Jack Nicholson would say in The Departed, this country, we treat Spanish like some sort of like gutter language of like whatever. Oh, you can translate. I'm like, somehow there's no credit given if like some 12-year-old kid, like we're just going to, your grandfather's got, it's like, or you got to speak English. It's like, no, this is a talent. This is a skill that he's developed by necessity, probably. But I just feel like even when I was at the DA's office, you just ask like a paralegal or someone to just go, oh, can you just translate here for me? And it's like, okay, go back. Yeah. Thank you. It's like, no. Yeah. Why has Spanish become this like, oh, whatever? Like, oh, you can speak Italian. Meanwhile, like somebody's like totally fluent in English and Spanish. Like, they fucking whatever. That's what you do, I guess. Yeah. What else are they going to do?
Right.
It's what you do. But, oh, wow. I didn't know you could speak Japanese.
Yeah, right.
And English. Wow. You are an impressive person. You're great. Oh, what's that 13-year-old? You're translating for your whole family so they can live? Well, what, I mean, just eating snacks and sucking off the government teat, you Spanish kid. I just find it's so weird that we've taken for granted, it seems.
There's just something about the fact that a lot of these other places are, in a way, sort of exotic. Like, I don't think it was, I would bet you that in 1930, it wasn't awesome that people like could speak Italian and English.
And German.
Right. Yeah, right. Because I think there was
Japanese. Look out for that guy in 1930. Interesting choice of languages, Sven.
Yeah. But I think there's something about the fact that obviously like there's a lot of interest from South and Central America. Well, not South, but like Central and Mexico, where people come into the country And I think in general, there's a lot of resentment for those people coming in. So I think that even though Spanish really is a nice language to listen to when you're hearing it, I think that there is probably a lot of baseline resentment for immigration.
It's terrible.
And if you come from Japan, like there are less Japanese. If you're in like the middle of the country, how many like little Japans are there in Michigan?
Yeah.
I can't imagine there's many.
Yeah.
So it's like exotic in a fun way, as opposed to people that you feel like are like a threat to you.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, and there is something about feeling helpless. Like I had to call a client using a translator service. And so this woman picks up, and if I had to guess where the translator was from, I'd say probably maybe like a South American.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, but I don't know for sure. Maybe she was from like Europe and just was really great. But there is something attractive to, maybe this is my version of like a CEO getting his nuts stepped on. Mm-hmm. Mine's a little more humble and clean. Where just having like some woman go, okay, sir, I will now translate for you with the client, and just being like perfect English, perfect Spanish, at least it sounds, but very clear, articulate Spanish. And I was like, wow, is this what phone sex is like? Yeah. But it's just another one of those things that I think about where it's just like, yeah, we've just taken for granted. Like I can't speak Spanish. Like it's a skill. It's like,
yeah,
I just, you know, and having people translate for me in court today, I just kind of, I'm going to get like a harassment complaint against me. Just he was looking at me in a weird way when I was translating for him. He didn't say anything, but he just kind of looked too appreciative when I was translating the client.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just want to figure out like some joke around that, but it's just another example of how our country, you know, can Donald Trump speak any languages like that? That was how they'd probably justify it. He would meet some 15-year-old who can speak fluently both and go, treat him like a dog who did like a trick on a late night show. Right? Look at little Miguel. Little Miguel, he can do the English. And now do the Spanish. Oh, look at he's doing the Spanish now. Yeah, he's at Coco. We call him Coco. Sir, Coco was the grandmother. Shut up. You think I saw that movie? We call him Coco. It's called Coco. You like hot cocoa? I like Coco Iced Tea's wife. That's a nice cocoa. Anyway, we'll be back with the main topic after this break. And we're back from the break. Mike, how was that break for you?
Pretty good. Everything's rolling.
Yeah, I see that red light. Roxanne, you don't have to stop the podcast tonight. Whoa, I really can't sing. It's the one flaw.
Yeah, it is a flaw.
It's the one. You misheard me. It's the one flaw.
No, I heard you.
Yeah, no, it sounded like you didn't. So it's the one flaw. I feel like I'm all the worst elements of the cast of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
No.
There's a lot of Dennis.
Not really. Not really.
Yeah. The fake me is a little Dennis.
Yeah, but you don't have any like you're not a sociopath.
Yeah, I love
You don't have
Dennis.
any malicious intent at all.
Yeah. I love Dennis.
Yeah, he's very funny.
So good. And I love Danny DeVito. Icon.
Yeah,
Comedy icon.
Yeah.
Not in the way young people say it, where if you take a good bowel movement, you're iconic.
Yeah.
Shows, folks, before we get to the main topic, which I definitely know what it is. A lot of shows coming up. Okay, so just bear with me and listen. September 19th. It's all on my website, jlcomedy.com. September 19th, I'm at the Mayo Performing Arts Center. I'm on the lineup. It's a beautiful theater. It's like 1,100 seats. It's a good payday. So come see me in Morristown, New Jersey. Come on, folks. It's a good show.
Nice town.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful town.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it voted for Kamala Harris. It was
Morristown's like it's almost like Hoboken, kind of.
But I've heard from a lot of people
Jersey.
From before I saw the data, I had read that Morristown was a MAGA town. Now, now it's like a 55-45 kind of, or 56-44 kind of town. So it's pretty split.
Yeah.
But it looked so nice. And they have a restaurant that opened up recently called the 1776.
Oh, wow.
From like a celebrity chef.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, Morristown.
Yeah, that makes you think. Don't try it on me, town.
Yeah. And I was like, geez, this is such a good ad. This town is such a good ad for like Republicans, though, because it's so nice.
Yeah.
But not so nice it's a sundown town.
Right.
Just super not like you're like, oh, this is everything is really nice here. So that's September 19th. October 4th, Washington, D.C., 2 shows at the D.C. Comedy Loft. October 22nd, Philadelphia Freedom. That Punchline in Philly, please. I keep emphasizing that one. Spread the word. Tell your friends. Get your tickets if you're anywhere near Philly for that one. When you have a day job, East Coast venues are huge because they're not vacation gigs. They're just like, I'm ducking out of work an hour early to do my gigs in Philly.
Right.
After that, November. Oh, Huntington, New York, November 18th. I'm headlining a show in Huntington, New York. So all my Long Island people, fans. I don't really have people in Long Island. And then December. Big news, everybody. Your boys headed back to Toronto. They love me in Canada.
Great.
Trump versus Canada. Duh. December 18th. Plus, JL's new stand-up special. Come on back the next night. We got 3 shows.
You doing another one?
We got shows on the 19th and the 20th. 3 shows. We're doing the final JL stand-up special.
I'll believe that when I see it.
It is. I got to. I will have no more material. And I will be doing one of 2 jobs as the focus of my life.
I know that you're saying this. I just can't believe it. Like, I can't believe that you're actually going to stop.
I just don't see myself doing a special anymore. I don't see myself, because I don't see the point. Yeah. Even doing this special, it's going to lose me money.
Yeah.
I'm doing it as a bookend.
Yeah.
This is my body of work over 20 by the time it comes out, it'll probably be close to 23 years, Michael Jordan. And it'll be, 3 Trump specials. It'll be a 3rd Trump special, a third stand-up special, and a 9th stand-up album. It's enough work. I've proven it to myself.
I agree.
I feel like the climate and the environment in comedy is just like, if I don't want to do it for myself, it makes no sense financially,
right,
or with what's left of my life to like be grinding and doing this stuff. If comedy could be easier for me as a business, it would be less taxing on my personal life and on everyone around me to keep lamenting and diving into this and fighting to get like gigs and get respect. And it's at this point, it's throwing good after bad. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate, but I do have a really good hour kind of ready to be molded and crafted. And then the Trump thing will just be super funny because, it's just, I'm that good. And then December 28th is Charlotte, North Carolina. So a lot of shows, folks. That's the way it is. As soon as you get a day job that means something to you and that you really want to do a good job, everybody's got gigs. I've had to turn down 2 private shows as Trump because of conflicts.
Were they?
One was in Florida for a private party. That was the one I'm gonna regret because I feel like that's gonna be like, like MAGA granny porn chicks. It's like 60. I love Trump. I've got fake tits. It's like, I love Trump.
Yeah.
And one was a party in Long Island because I'm going to my nephew's soccer game for one of those. So instead of making $1,500, I will spend $400 on train and meals.
Where's the soccer game?
Boston.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So Amtrak both ways.
Yeah.
I'll eat like a king while I'm there. I'll find a nice seafood type place and be like, bleh.
Yeah, get some lobster.
Whoa. He doesn't just do Tony Stark, folks. He does Boston guy as well.
It's pretty good. You do one word of a Boston guy.
Lobster.
Lobster.
And that, what was I going to say? So that's the gigs. And it had something to do with soccer and comedy gigs and work And because this is what happens when I'm such a space cadet. Like my brain is always going, and it's like sometimes it loses the path.
Sometimes it's gone. Gone.
Baseball. Yeah. So folks, as I enter this crossroads of my life where comedy seems to be fading, thanks in part to some of you, let's be honest. Not all of you are Patreon subscribers. Not all of you are album downloaders. Not all of you are ticket buyers. Okay. But I've reached this point where it's like, I have a job that I kind of care about. You want to hear about anxiety. Remember we talked about my fear of flying and how it's on my mind. Like I can't go on a vacation and have it like be completely out of my mind.
We share that. Yeah.
And a commenter on X, Twitter, said, I've never heard somebody like sum up how I'm feeling about flying when I'm on vacation. And I don't know if it felt good, but it felt like good. I'm glad I gave you somebody out there. You're not crazy.
You're being seen.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing them maybe.
But someone's being seen. Yeah.
I'm a voyeur.
Right.
I'm looking at them.
Yeah.
What if I change it to that? I look at you like somebody who doesn't know like the woke phrases.
I watch you.
I watch you. I am looking at you. When you are at home worried, I am observing you. But I just spent the last week stressed out of my mind. Like I had a flight coming up because today was my first day in court after 17 years. The last time I was in court arguing a case or doing anything like that was, December 2007.
Wow.
Yeah. And it tells me like I had this stress a lot, and it was like it was so similar to my fear of flying. The anxiety, like the sleep, like the stress. I was stressed 2 days ago, and like Laura was just like, "Oh, I don't like this. You're like too wound up." And it's because I cared. But I feel like sometimes, and I don't mean this as like sometimes I work too hard, or sometimes I care too much. I don't think this is like me caring because I'm such a great person, but it's almost like I have something in me that's like, you got to be effed up over something.
Yeah.
And so like work is like, what if I go in and I fuck up a case and like these people are out on their asses, and it's not an unrealistic thing. It's my first day of getting cases. They're not like, this person's going to be evicted in 12 hours.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, right.
Of course, I'm getting more like earlier stage work.
Yeah.
But I just can't help it. And I keep thinking to myself, between comedy, between being a lawyer, and this is potentially a job I will hopefully have for many, many years, because there is a sense of purpose. They have trained me. I like working in the Bronx. And so if this is the job I have until I'm 60, I think I could be very happy with that. Just something with purpose, something where housing is a dire issue. I get nervous in terms of if once Trump funding cuts start kicking in and all of a sudden maybe certain programs don't have that federal help, it's a scary thing because there is a lot in New York housing. Hardcore Republicans would probably be disgusted at how much assistance is available. To some, it might not be enough, but there's a lot of assistance available if somebody is there to shepherd you through it, guide you, and give you help, and talented people and me to do like arguments for you and whatnot. But I guarantee you there are, and then there's the other extreme where when I read that book that I talked to the author in one of the early episodes of this, Brian Goldstone, There Is No Place for Us. Then you see states like Georgia where you're like, oh, you have nothing. You have like, can we bring like a criminal case against the lawyer, the owner of the building, or prayer?
Yeah.
Those are our options because the law and the government are in the pockets of real estate so it's very extreme. And I think I wouldn't call it New York extreme, but it certainly is extreme in comparison. And you just sort of start to think like, well, isn't that a better place to put my stress at least into something that my stress over comedy just ruins Laura's night.
Right.
But stressing over this can actually, be sublimated into something positive, even if I keel over of a, heart attack at 52.
Right.
In my office, and they'll go, who was this guy again?
Yeah.
Jesus, we're gonna need a lot of people to lift this fucker out.
Yeah, I was gonna make.
Bring your strongest firefighters.
Get the crane.
Every time I'm eating snacks, Laura says, "When we're old, I'm gonna need a crane to get you up." So look at these Italians.
And you said old?
Yeah. Well, I joke with her. I go, the good news for you is God has a plan.
Right.
And the plan is not for 300-pound men to live till 90.
Yeah.
He is wise. The Lord said, fat fuck, you shall not be 90. I will strike you down while you are in your 50s so your lady doesn't have to grab you up and throw out her back. But that brings up the idea of running for office.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm not announcing anything right now, but the more I see our politics, and I heard former governor of Washington, Jay Inslee, who I was a big supporter of for president in 2019. First guy I ever donated more than like $50 to, and I donated like $2,000 to his, 1% primary campaign, because Jay Inslee, to me, I read an article, I was very big into climate, and he was a big climate guy, and Rolling Stone wrote a profile on him, and I go, oh, wow, this guy's very interesting. And then I dug deeper into the Jay Inslee stuff, and it was like, I know this has a point, everybody, just listen. Big climate guy, running a hugely successful economy in Washington, was in Congress and lost his congressional seat supporting the assault weapons ban in 94. Lost his seat. Principal. Student loans. I remember I talked to him. This is the great thing when you give like $1,000 to a guy at a fundraiser when it's the top amount.
You get to talk to him?
His fundraiser lady,
yeah,
Haley, but she went, I could see, I don't know if she knew, but she was like, you have to go talk to him.
Yeah.
He gave a lot of money.
Yeah.
And he came over. We had like a 5-minute discussion, and I got a picture and everything. And I was telling him, I don't want to tell you how to do your job. You're doing your job well. But just from my perspective, as somebody who, the more I learned about you, the more I was like, this is the guy. Mm-hmm. We need more people to know this. It's a matter of getting your story out there. Do you have like some billionaire climate guy who's just like, super PAC, let's go?
Yeah.
Because when he was at Stanford, he was trying to make the basketball team at Stanford as a freshman. He didn't. And then he had to leave because he couldn't afford the tuition otherwise. Mm-hmm. So he went to University of Washington. And I go, in a time where student debt is an issue for people, isn't that a relatable thing? Mm-hmm. I was smart enough to be at Stanford, but I couldn't afford it. Had to leave. Went to a wonderful state school, but like that's, and so many things across the board that he voted for and supported was just like, imagine if Joe Biden were taller, better looking, and far more progressive and younger. That's a guy who might get 55% of the Democratic primary vote, if not more. Mm-hmm. And the reason I bring that up is I'm a big Jay Inslee fan, and he was talking on my friend Pete Dominic's podcast, Stand Up with Pete. And the first thing he said was, well, gosh, Pete, if I had been on your show, I might have won. Well, Governor Inslee, this guy who donated $2,000 to you guest hosted you on Pete Dominic's show.
He must have not remembered.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. Remember one. Remember the interview or the cash.
Yeah.
That's a double whammy. That's why it hurt. It wouldn't hurt. One or the other wouldn't hurt. It was the combo.
Yeah.
What
do I got to do? What do I got to do to make an impression?
I demand an apology. Senator, this man demands an apology.
Michael Corleone said this. Michael Corleone said that. And I said, yeah.
Oh, my God. Why do you hurt me, Michael? God, I got like Thanksgiving. Underrated part of Thanksgiving, Mike,
is getting the
AMC,
Godfather all the way through.
The Godfather. Yeah. And the chronological with the extra footage. Mm-hmm. It's the best.
Yeah, it's the best.
It is the best. Turkey, and forget football.
Yep.
I stand with Kaepernick and the Corleones on Thanksgiving.
The Sicilian,
But Governor Jay Inslee was talking about what the Democrats need right now. And man, it sounded like a call to arms for J.L. Cauvin. He didn't know it because he didn't remember me.
Right.
He doesn't remember my cash, doesn't remember my interview. So a huge moment for me getting to interview him.
Yeah.
This is pre-2020 JL. This was just undiscovered, unappreciated talent.
Yeah.
Instead of discovered and discarded talent, which I am now. Discovered and Discarded sounds like my alt rock album from 99. From producer Puddle of Mud comes JL, Discovered and Discarded.
The worst.
I've been discovered and discarded. Yeah.
Terrible music.
Fred Durst gave us Puddle of Mud. Ugh. I love that.
He produced them?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, explains a lot.
Great intro to Blurry, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It was all blurry.
And then She Hates Me is a fun song, but interesting story. It's a song where if Alexa plays it in my apartment, Cookie sits up and it's like a fire alarm went off and she runs out of the room. No other song.
Really?
The guitar like ding, 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 and she like sits up and she's like looks around like she has to escape.
Really?
It would make a good TikTok, don't you think?
Yeah.
But why beat up on Puddle of Mud in 2025?
Yeah, they're passe. Let them live.
Let them live.
Yeah,
let them live. But Jay Inslee sounded like it was a call to arms. He was just like, we need fighters, but he wasn't saying the generic fighters. You know what I mean? He was kind of like, we need some people who can motivate, who can get in the mud a little bit and can really present. And I was like, yeah. I started to like open the shirt like I'm Superman as I was listening to him talk. And we're getting very close, folks, to a do or die moment for me, because there's so many things cautioning me to not do it. But at the same time, where are we? Like Gavin Newsom memes, all due respect to people who are enjoying that. I don't want to live in a world where politicians need to be social media savvy, need to be like quick-witted. I
get on a spaceship then. I mean,
no. I'm saying like, I don't want to be.
Right.
But I know that's where we are.
Yeah.
And it comes to a point where you just say, do I have a skill set? Do I have a lane that I might be able to do some shit? Because we are. It's incredible how quickly we've arrived at a place that sounded like hyperbole before. And I said this to Brian Goldstone in the interview about that book, There Is No Place for Us. I said, a lot of the things that 15 years ago might have seemed radical are now necessary. It's not, I don't think it's like some of the things we need now in terms of health insurance, housing, et cetera, super high taxes on billionaires. They're not really radical. They might be radical, but when something is necessary, is it really radical? And I think that's where we're at. But what Trump is doing, Trump, algorithm, Trump. And the Supreme Court, like we now have a country where the GOP has literally given up their power. Like Congress is a wing of the White House. They are not fighting for anything. They are not defending their own prerogative, their own constitutional powers. So we're at a point now where we have a branch of government, as long as it stays in the power of Republicans, that is no longer a branch of government. It's a wingman for Donald Trump.
Right.
And the Supreme Court is like the bartender that's serving minors. Right? Like, so it's like, they have no they are gutless. They are morally corrupt. And so we need people, and this isn't me saying having some savior complex. I'd gladly, as Jesus said, if this cup can pass from my lips, please, Father, but if it is your will, let it be done.
Right.
That's a pretty humble way of starting a political campaign. He compared his mission to get elected to Congress as a Christ-like Good Friday moment.
Yeah, right.
But we are at the point now where the skills that I have and people like me, I think need to be put to better societal use. That is why I took this job in the Bronx. First off, is that I said, I'm no great lawyer, but I want to do this and I have a law degree and I'm not dumb. So maybe I can be of service here. And it's a good thing. And I was genuinely motivated to do that. And, you know, politics is another area where you sort of say, it sounds all bullshit and highfalutin and kind of arrogant to be like a call to service. Well, government used to be service. It wasn't some social media aggrandizing enterprise. It used to be service. Yeah. And for many people who we probably don't know, it is service still. But for too many people, if you say, I wanted to get into to serve people, I genuinely believe that. Like, I wouldn't want to do it because my brand might do, gross.
Right.
We're at a point, maybe in great times, if everything was wonderful and everybody adhered to the Constitution and people had homes and people were safe, and our founding fathers weren't rolling over in their graves and not just to hump the ghosts of their dead slaves, Thomas Jefferson, but out of like disgust also. Then maybe I wouldn't do it, but then maybe you'd be like, well, what's the harm if he's doing it to like, you know, build up. I mean, it's gross still, but it wouldn't be. But now, you know, it's like when Obama cried over Sandy Hook and some Republicans were like, oh, these crocodile tears.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Crying over 6-year-olds blasted apart by AR-15s? Only a fraud could cry at that.
Right.
That was such a big, and I've talked about that before on the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure, you're sad.
Yeah,
sure.
We believe it. You're a great person.
Right. That was a moment I genuinely thought during that thing. Everybody always talks, rightfully so, about how we didn't do anything about gun violence after that. And now it's a moot issue. Nothing will be done.
Right.
Sorry. Yeah. It's just that we crossed a Rubicon.
Yes.
But to me, the extra was this need for so many people in the country to like, it's not good. You don't want to feel bad ever. So if Obama's crying or tearing up, it's because he's fake. Because what if those are real tears? Like, then should I examine why I'm not super sad over 20 first graders and their teachers getting blasted apart by like military weapons?
Right.
No, Obama's a fake. I almost had emotions there, but then I realized Obama's faking it. And that was as important. I think that was as important a moment as not doing anything legally, not passing more stringent gun laws was the big issue. Morally, where our country is as people, when I could see on social media people questioning, you know, Alex Jones found an audience by claiming they were crisis actors.
Right.
People could claim that Obama tearing up, and it wasn't like he was bawling.
Right.
He was trying to restrain himself because he's the president, but tearing up had to be was a oh God, sure. Yeah. And we're now at a point in this country where there are a lot of shitty people in power, and they are being empowered by a lot of shitty people. And there comes a moment where service now means, on one hand, looking to help the less fortunate, looking to help out people who are contributing to this country and are treated like outcasts, recognizing the humanity of all Americans and people legally or illegally here. And so that's one angle. And the other, like, that's one thing to serve, but it's also people with voices and the ability to amplify good messages and point out the bad in a way that can be consumed now and appreciated and processed. And I'm of the opinion we need people who can motivate good people and some of the cynical people. The MAGA movement is a giant tumor on the body politic. And it's inoperable. They're here. They are part of this society. So we need to build up like our resistance elsewhere so that you can like, yeah, we shrunk it a little bit, but it's always going to be there. That brain tumor known as MAGA is always going to be there. So we just have to shrink it to the point where it doesn't kill you. And then here's all the things you need to do to maintain, bless you.
Thank you. Sorry.
A healthier body politic that can overcome that faction. And right now, the people who are active in politics, it's a 50-50 game. But the population of this country is not 50% MAGA, 50% not MAGA. It's like 75% not MAGA, don't care, not interested, over politics, etc. Don't understand the gravity of the situation we're in. But the Supreme Court, I mean, they have paved the way for an autocracy. And for some people, you need to point out that this isn't how the country's supposed to be. That might work on some. For others, you have to point out on what the repercussions of this could be when someone else is in office that they don't like or that they think could be worse. And I don't know. We're just getting to a point, I think, where, you know, tall, strong, biracial men of conscience are going to have to like get in the ring. And I just, when I see people hypothetically running for Congress, I often see it's either like he's military or he's an athlete or he is, or, you know, she's got a social media, but I don't see a lot of people who are going to be throwing haymakers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've said it before. The Constitution is on our side. Righteousness is on our side. But do we have the people who can make that clear? I wish we lived in a world where people, I can't believe we're in a country now where it's like, I'd love to have a Congress full of boring wonks who are just like, yeah, I'm on the right side of issues. I'm a decent person. And, but the bad guys are winning, plain and simple. And I've made this analogy probably too many times now. And Mike, you can confirm this. Sometimes when you want to catch a great white, you need a quint. And I don't think we need a bigger boat, Mike. I think we need a bigger politician.
I'll find him for 3, but I'll catch him and kill him.
I'll post on Truth Social for 3, but I'll do a YouTube and an Instagram for 10. But that's where we are, folks. And this, yeah, we had no fucking topic this week. The mystery's solved.
I think you did a great job.
Well, but I just think we need, like, it is just one of those things, and I won't ramble anymore because we have one more topic to do. But I can be sarcastic. I can be cynical. I can put on a show and I can pretend to be like not care. But the truth is, I think it's disgusting what's going on right now. And I'm almost as disgusted, not as disgusted. This isn't on both sides, but by people who can't be bothered to be interested in what's happening in our country.
It's so strange.
I'm not saying they're as bad as MAGA. They're not. But it's part of the problem because the MAGA movement is starting to really erode the fabric of this country. And it's happening very fast. And you have people, I honestly think if the Democrats were doing this for a Democratic president, I would say something. Would I be as threatened and scared? Let me be honest. No. But we've never seen, it's the same thing when people say, well, if the left elected a Donald Trump type, you wouldn't vote Republican. Yes, I would if it was, here's the hacky example, Kanye West versus Mitt Romney. I am voting for Mitt Romney. Don't project your bullshit on me. Right. I am, because there is a limit to, I don't think this guy can do the job. And even worse, I think he might do a bad job morally and politically. So yes, Mitt Romney, don't agree with you on a lot of things, but the country will stay within its bumper lanes or whatever, the bowling lane bumpers.
We've used that example a million times. Yeah. It's like, if I had the opportunity to vote for Mitt Romney again, I would be like, great, let's do it, you know? couple weird things in there that I don't agree with, but whatever. There's the normal enough person, you know?
And so I just think sometimes you sometimes have these moments, and there were for several months I had this, and I still get it because I've become a little bit anxious over a lot of things. But I've had these moments where I go, no, I couldn't run. Who the fuck do I think I am? Mm-hmm. For everybody, I'm very arrogant about my comedy. You know, maybe with the data doesn't back it up, but the material backs it up. But I'm not arrogant when it comes to pursuing things. That's why I brought up the work thing, being super stressed at work, because I care, and what I'm doing is important to people. Maybe not important to the whole world, but there are people who, if I stay in this job and get more and more cases, and people's lives can be changed by like a simple, tall lawyer who, is learning the ropes. So it is worth being stressed about because it matters. It matters to people, and it matters in a real way. And on a more macro level, what's going on in this country matters. So there were moments over the last few months where I'd go, I can't believe I'm even like pondering running for who am I?
Yeah.
Tell you who I am. I'm a citizen of this country who cares and who has, to quote Liam Neeson, a particular set of skills.
Yeah.
Skills that will make me a nightmare for a man like Donald Trump. Skills that I have acquired over a lifetime of Greyhounds and Amtraks and garbage food and stupid audiences and disrespectful club owners and friends who show up when I'm hot and disappear when I'm not. That's what I've built. These are hard-earned skills. I have been a small business owner. As I've said, look at my tax returns. You'd find no smaller business in America than my comedy career. I'm a lawyer. I'm an animal. I'm angry about what's going on. And I'm also pretty funny and pretty decent at social media. And I think what is happening in our country is historically tragic and historically dangerous. And maybe we're getting to a time where, some people have to step up and give it a try and say, these people will do an honorable job. These people will do a fine job. They will do the best they can. They will represent good values and good policies. But sometimes somebody has to show up and smack MAGA in the face with their own weapons and their own tools. And I don't know. We'll see. No announcement yet. Gotcha. No announcement. But that is, so when I say service, Mike,
yes,
I mean it. I don't mean like, I've had people even say to me, well, and if nothing happens, like it might be good for your, no, like that is just not how I honestly think about this. Mm-hmm. The idea of being like, maybe I can prolong the pain that has been my comedy career if I get just enough of a boost.
Yeah.
We're ready to take JL's comedy career off of life support again. He got a boost from running for office. So he's going to have to take these medications, do therapies and freezing.
We're still going to keep him in intensive care.
Yeah. He's in the ICU. His career's in the ICU. But isn't that great news for his comedy career?
Yeah.
Well, his do not resuscitate my comedy career said pull the plug. Yeah, but we have new technologies that can keep, like Darth Vader. Yeah. He can be like, his comedy career can be like Darth Vader, but without all the power. So there is no ulterior motive. There is just a fatigue in people saying your comedy has helped so much during this time. And it's good to, with all that's going on. And I go, well, sometimes you're like, all right, I'm tired of easing the pain that's being caused by our politicians, and I'm ready to maybe stop the pain a little bit, do my part to stop the pain, not just give you, I don't want my comedy to be an oxycodone after democracy's dying. I want to maybe, like an RFK Jr., preventative medicine. I want to stop tyranny and dictatorships before it happens, not just make you laugh after you're done crying about everything that's going on. That guy's running our health. Yeah. Pete Hegseth's running the Department of Defense. Tulsi Gabbard, the worst of the worst. And I've rambled long enough. We got Comedy Talk. Oh, you should have seen the big smile on Mike's face. He loves the Comedy Talk. But I'm just saying, and if anybody's hearing me right now, maybe I'm talking to you. Maybe I'm not talking to myself. Maybe you're somebody in a community where it's like, yeah, get out there and fucking do something. Protests are great. Writing letters is great. Voting is the best thing you can do. But maybe one of you should do something also. But I am getting very close to doing something. And doesn't that sound like a threat, like a manifesto? All of a sudden, this rousing political speech became, I'm getting ready to do something very big. Now I sound like Keith David. Anyway, guys, we'll be back after. Sometimes it's just a passionate rain on your parade screed, or cry into the wilderness.
Yep.
But we'll be back with Comedy Talk. Okay, everybody, we're back for Comedy Talk. Mike, your favorite part, obviously.
My favorite part.
Well, we have no punch down of the week. I can always find a punch down, but I had something I wanted to talk about a little bit comedy-wise. If you're still listening, I hope you are. And remember to check out the shows. Join my Patreon if you want to support this show. But most important, get tickets to those shows. Tell your friends in those cities. It's really important for what's left of my comedy career. But I decided to watch a comic that I've been hearing a lot about, and he pops up in my feed a lot. And I said, let me watch this guy, and his name's Josh Johnson. I think he's a Daily Show correspondent, and he's become a real darling of the left and a real social media giant. And I'm going to call it a gimmick. And you can take that pejoratively or not, but he's on a big tour. He sells out. He's doing extremely well. He's got like millions of YouTube subscribers now. And he's gone the other way, which in some respects I love. I love people who don't go with gotta do real. I mean, he does his reels and his short time, but his bread and butter right now is these long sets. He basically posts his sets from his shows on his tour. So every week, and I've seen what gets me, to be honest, and I hate to sound like a hater sometimes. This is not one of those cases where I'm trying to be a hater, but when I see people misrepresent comedy, and people go, this guy's doing a new hour every week. Yeah. And they act like, just like when CK was doing an hour every year, and people are like, what? And I'm like, well, they all feel like kind of brownie batter that hasn't been in the oven yet. It's kind of like, there's all the makings of a good special. Why don't you give it another year to make it tight instead of the kind of meandering, like, I'm just having these random thoughts about my kids and fucking they suck.
Yeah. Right.
And it always felt kind of
kids and it's all shit. It's all fucking shit.
He's a shit. He's a shit. Look at him. He's a piece of shit. It always felt 2/3 baked.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say half baked, but it always felt like it was like, close. That's just my personal taste. But with Josh Johnson, this hour every week, and you have people going like, and you have I don't see a lot of comedians saying it, but a lot of people are like, this guy, he's doing, I mean, how is he doing this? Okay. I'll tell you how he's doing it. I've cracked the code. I watched his most recent presentation, Trump hoax hysteria, the fake news no one could ignore. It's like a 48-minute thing or something from Albany. He's putting these out every week, and they're topical. So I watched it, and he feels like, and I don't want to take anything away from him, but it feels just the same way there were people who watched Dane Cook in the early 2000s when I was starting out. You could tell who the Dane Cook fan was because they would just be trying to do Dane Cook. They were like, that's comedy. I do Dane. Like, I'm right. Like, you ever walk into a place and there's a guy and he's like, and you're like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes.
Because I was in high school.
Right. And there's going to be of course, big people will influence other people. And especially if you're new, if you don't have your voice, if you're not molded at all in what you want to be.
The new guy like that's Mulaney. Now, like normal people, when they're trying to like be funny, they'll do Mulaney. That like,
well,
yes.
That's what I'm saying.
They do that.
And then there was like CK, it became just, I can meander and talk forever. And that's comedy. And then of course, on a slightly ethnic note to bookend
Maniscalco?
it. Maniscalco.
Yeah.
Maniscalco. I am a huge Maniscalco fan. Do I think everything he's ever said is hilarious? No.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan.
Same.
He really makes me laugh.
Yeah.
He's fun. It's light. He's a character, but I love it. But what he has birthed in comedy is nothing short of a disgrace.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't even want to call out some of the people. We can do it off mic, but there are some attempts. They have literally just rode the Maniscalco wave to it's like, you are disgusting.
Yeah.
You should be, aren't you? I would love to have Maniscalco critiquing Italian comics. You're just going to get up there and do jokes from 3 decades ago. You're going to do Chinese accents. Aren't you embarrassed? It's awful. It is really, he should make the same way people will be like, where are the black leaders to call out the violent, the cynical conservative? Maniscalco needs to speak out about what's being done in his name.
Yeah.
Because it's awful.
Yeah.
But what Josh Johnson's doing this is the equivalent of the Chappelle. Now there's a Chappelle, I can slow talk. I can just, I'm a thinker up here. I'm a thinker. I think. I don't need to give you 40 jokes in 50 minutes.
Yeah.
I can give you 6 jokes and 92 things you already think that you'll laugh in appreciation. It's like this just above Clapter.
Yeah.
Just above it. Like, he doesn't qualify for Clapter yet. He's like managed to game the system where it's like, okay, and how many jokes do I have to have so it's not Clapter? 9? Let's do 9.1 to be safe. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, it was like watching somebody, and this is the content. This is partly the content world also. He has mastered YouTube. Mastered it. He must be making tens of thousands of dollars a month minimum. Mm-hmm. But for comedy, it's like, it's somehow a good thing that it's long form, get people to watch more long things, not just be here's 90 seconds, here's 90 seconds, here's 90 seconds, here's 30 seconds, here's 30 seconds. But at the same time, it's almost like he's managed to make it content still. Yeah. And I don't get, I am always prepared. You know how I know I'm open to seeing somebody blow my mind? I'm nervous when I watch a new comic because there's part of me that's like, am I going to have to be jealous?
Yeah.
And as gross as that sounds, it tells you that mentally I am open to this person because I view them as a competitor and they've clearly bested me. But will they bet? The hardest one would be, but are they better? Mm-hmm. I know they're more successful, but am I going to watch this guy and be like, God damn, shit?
Yeah.
And I didn't. And that's the frustrating thing. It just feels like it's long form content. It's breaking news. It's basically fewer jokes than an hour-long podcast that I do, but it's a podcast. It's like a weekly what just happened, and now I'm going to tell some jokes, but I'm going to really pace it. I'm going to really pace it so I can fill up the time. And I know this sounds like hating, and so be it, but it's another angle of people manipulating comedy. And I think it's content in stand-up clothing. It's a content wolf in comedy sheep's clothing. That's almost what I didn't like about it or what I was seeing through. I get it when people game the TikTok algorithm, but this felt in one way more ingenious, more brilliant from a social media perspective. But once again, I'm looking for a young person who I can believe in to kind of elevate and save comedy. And instead, it's just a more ingenious manipulation of content, I think. Mm-hmm. So we got Bo Burnham and that's it still. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. Have a great week. Maybe we can take this country back, Mike. Maybe we can take it back again. We got to take it back from the people who took it back.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for listening. Leave a review on iTunes and Spotify, please. Tell your friends, share an episode, see you at a show, get tickets. See you next Thursday.